All right. Tomorrow we will be taking our benchmark on 4-6. And we're going to continue to work on writing functions. We're going to continue to work on graphing those functions. Really, all 4-6 is talks about a specific type of function. And as you went through and graphed your information, final warning. You too. As we continue to go through this, we're going to see that this type of function graphs a perfectly straight line. So really all we had to do is graph 2 points on our graph for today that I gave you. And if you use a straight edge and line up those lines perfectly, you could figure out any input as long as you continued that on. And I bet, how many kids used the graph to figure out the answer for how many months it took to buy your iPad? Did you use the graph to figure that out? Or use the line? Okay? And we're going to talk another way about how to do that, and that's a little bit with algebra today. Because, let's see, I think Jesse showed me today that he could do it without even graphing. Is that right? He didn't graph the line to figure out that it was 14 months. He did a little bit of algebra. And we'll talk about that right now. So, our question is, Pavel was given $300 from his grandfather on his 13th birthday. He plans on saving that money and then adding $25 per month until he has $650 so he can purchase an iPad. Create a function table to show the amount of money he has after month 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? I get new toys every day.
Do you keep them?
Good one. So, if we're going to create a function table, what is going to be my input and what's going to be my output? Okay? Well, sure, we can use x and we can use y. That's fine. But what does x mean? What is x going to mean in this? And what is y going to mean? Yeah?
X is the amount of months.
Okay, so it's important to make sure we understand that, right? So x is the number of months. And then what does y represent? Yeah?
Like how much you have per month, so money.
Sure. I'm going to just put a dollar sign. Is that all right? Now, if you look at the graph that I gave you today, I actually graphed the first point for you. Did everybody notice that? Okay? And do you see how, what is the x part of your coordinate plane? What is the x part labeled? There's a label down there. What is it labeled? Yeah. Months. And what's the y label?
Dollars.
How are we doing so far? Pretty good? Okay. So based on this, after our first month, how much money will we have after our first month? And let me read the question one more time. We'll see if we can figure it out. Pavel was given $300 from his grandfather on his 13th birthday. He plans on saving that money and adding $25 per month until he has $650 so he can purchase an iPad. How much would we have after month number 1? Yeah? $325. Then, after the second month, how much money would we have? After the second month? $350. And the third month? Now, does everybody see a common pattern that we're doing right here in our Y's? Does everybody see that? Plus 25? What is it called when we repeat addition over and over again? Multiplication. Multiplication is repeated addition. We see a common pattern of adding 25. So right away, I know that I need to take 25 and multiply it by a number. What do we need to multiply 25 by? Yeah. 25 times that, or $25 per month. Let's see if that's actually in our problem. See if we see $25 per month in our problem. Pavel was given $300 from his grandfather on his 13th birthday. He plans on saving that money and adding $25 per month. There's $25 per month. Everybody agree? Okay. We talked a little bit about, what do we call $25 per month?
Allowance.
Sure, it could be allowance, but there's a mathematical term that we talked about, and we had it, if this list was still on this board, it was down here. What is $25 per month? How much for 2 months then? How much would be 2 months? If we do $25 a month, how much for 2 months? 50, right? And 3 months would be 75. What are we using? Yeah, unit rate. And kids, tomorrow you're going to watch video 5.3. You're going to find out that unit rates are our slope. If you actually graph this, you can start off at 325 for the first month. So put your finger on 325 and the first month. Now if you climb up, if you go up 25, because we're putting in $25, and over 1 month, you should be on the next point. Does everybody see that? Up 25 over 1. That's our unit rate of $25 per month. Kids, when you're doing that, you're finding the slope. Okay? Unit rates are slopes. Slopes are unit rates. Every single month we go up $25. That's the reason why we're adding $25. That's the reason why it says $25 per month. We need to get that through there. Unit rates are slopes. That's a key thing for tomorrow. Okay? Then, our overall goal is to say, when are we going to get to 650? And some of you graph these points, and then you used a straight edge and figured out that this was month number what? 14. He said, boom, I'm done. Well, Jesse, you did it a little bit differently. You didn't do any graphing. What did you do to figure this out? Can you explain? Okay, I'll help you out. Okay? Jesse figured out his function, first of all. He said that, well, I have to add 300 because I was given 300. Whoops. We're going to make that a little bit smaller. Add 300. And then if I do $25 per month, the first month, 25 plus 300 is 325. 25 times 2 is 50. 50 plus 300 is 350. So he figured out that piece. Well, then he went all the way down here and said, well, I know I need to add 300 right here. And this is before he found out this 14. And he was doing this in his head. He was trying to figure out, all right, well, how many groups of 25 will be equal to 350? Because he knew that 350 plus 300 is 650. So then he was counting. I could see him counting in his head. 1 group of 25, 2 groups of 25, 3 groups of 10 groups of 25. Probably jumped up to there. Okay, that's 250. And he kept going and going and going until he got to his 350. And he said, well, it's 14 months. 25 times 14 is 350. 350 plus 300 is 650. Now what he's actually doing is this problem. Oh, wait. What he actually did was this problem right here. 25x plus 300 is equal to 650. Now, kids, this is chapter 12. We're going to get to this eventually. Solving two-step equations. And he realized that really he needed this value right here to be worth 350. So what he did is he just discounted the $300. And now he was just trying to figure out how many groups of 25 go into 350. And I think he did the repeated addition piece where he kept adding the 25s. Could we take 350 and divide it by 25. Does that make sense? So if we divide by 25, we would get our x to equal 14. Now kids, I don't expect anyone to have to do this type of problem right here. And on your test, it's not going to say that it won't say that you need $650. I wanted to just do this just to see how kids solve it. And I saw a kid first period who did the same type of thing to figure it out. Other kids graphed it, connected the straight line, and figured out that it was 14 months. I wanted to see if kids could actually do this part and how they actually solved it. Just to see where we're at algebraically. So a typical or a test question that you would see is, instead of saying how many months would it be until he gets $650, they'd say, after 24 months, how much would he have saved? And the only way, one way to do that is if you write your function, 25x plus 300. All we have to do is plug in that value of x. X is months, 24 months. That's what you'll need to do for your test for chapter 4. Okay? You won't have to do the algebra. They're not going to tell you, here's the output, tell me what the input is. That's solving algebra. We'll get to that chapter 12. Okay? I put this in here just to see where we're at with that. Make sense to everybody? Now, you will be taking a benchmark on 4-6 tomorrow. So we need to make sure that we understand how to write functions, what a linear equation is, how to graph those inputs and outputs, and move on from there. Then everybody needs to make sure that they watch video 5.3 tonight on slope. So moving up to chapter 5, lesson 3, that will have the slope piece. All right?